So Thudo says, she says, can you please teach how to develop schedule for meeting if it's long distance relationship? Because I feel he already has space because it's a long distance relationship. Yeah, kind of talking about, by the way, here's my long distance program. If any of you want, I have a whole system on long distance stuff. If you want that, you can go check out commitmentconnection.com/long-distance-allure. And you can check out that program there. But yeah, I mean, you want to have conversations with them. Just talk about stuff, depending on whether he's taking too much space or whether he's not taking enough space. You want to just have conversations with him about what he likes, right? What he thinks about things. So one of the ways that you can kind of test the waters with this is you ask him a question about what he thinks about other people who do something that's more extreme than what you want. So let's say that he's not contacting you enough, right? And you want him to contact you more often. When you are talking to each other, what you might want to say is, hey, what do you think of like those couples that are in long distance relationships that, they like talk every single day and they're like always connected with each other? And what he'll do is he'll probably be like, oh, well, that's way too much. That's way too often, right? And so you're setting a stage, right? You're setting a stage for something, and then you're pulling it back. And so what's going to happen is he's going to be like, oh, that's way too often. I think that's crazy, right? And then be like, oh, what do you think? What do you think is a good amount of time for people to be connected with each other, in a long distance relationship? Then you can have a conversation about it where you're like, oh, and you're like, oh, like every other day, every 3 days, every week, whatever. And you guys can you can get a feel for like because everybody has a blueprint, right? You have a blueprint in your mind, and he has a blueprint in his mind about how a relationship should look. And you need to talk about those things so that you don't think that something's weird, something weird is going on when he thinks everything's normal, or the other way around, right? You think everything's normal, but something weird is actually going on. And so if you have these conversations with him about things like that, you can figure out your blueprint, because your two blueprints come, right? Your blueprints come and they smack together with each other. And it's like, boom, like, are our blueprints the same? You're trying to, match your blueprints, but one's over here and the other one's like that. And you just have a conversation with him about it and talk to him about it and figure out whether your blueprints are different and what works for you. Find out what he likes, tell him what you like, what your standards are, what your preferences are, what you would enjoy, and all that kind of stuff. And then you can kind of have, figure it out. And eventually what you can do is you can schedule it, or you can talk about it, right? Like, how often do we want to talk to each other to make sure that we're communicating and everything's good with each other? And, I'm not worried about you, you're not worried about me, all that kind of stuff.